We talk a lot about making small games because what we've been doing as well, we've been saying the gospel of small games, but you guys are like, oh, small games, they can't make you successful. And to that I say, well, meet Dorian, who is part of the development team Dudes at we meet Minami Lane here at Tokyo Indie Game Summit. And you've done a rebrand of your studio as well, even if on Steam now, if you go to Minami Lane, it even says Dude Tiny Games.
Yeah, sure. So my actually my developer name is Dudes, and the studio name is Dude Tiny Games. So that's why.
Was it always Dude Tiny Games?
Well, at first we didn't even have a studio name because the first game I did was almost solo, and then the second one we just did it in a couple, and so we didn't thought about the team name.
Yeah.
And then when we had to create the studio, I was like, okay, I need a name. What's my name? I like tiny games. I want to make tiny games. Let's put Dude Tiny Games, and that's okay. So yeah.
So you've made tiny games your whole branding, of course. You've made Minami Lane. You've made a bunch of giant Reddit posts as well on r/game that are like some of the most top voted, talking about small games and why they are so awesome. I get a lot of like criticism of like, no, you shouldn't make small games. So I'm here with you to set the record straight.
Yeah, sure.
So should you make small games?
Yes, I even have a presentation that I give to every talk I go, is why everyone should make small games. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure everyone actually should make small games, either just for training or just for getting kind of a reputation or a name out there. It's important, but even then there are so many good reasons to make small games that everyone should, I guess. Actually, it's a bit like saying, oh, you like to do painting, you should draw with a pencil. But even with that metaphor, yes, artists that like to paint should also train with other methods, and making small games is kind of the same. Like, you have to do small games to be a game developer, I think, really.
I think small games, especially, like, you're a two-man team and then you had an artist as well, right?
It's actually the
composer, musician.
Yeah, we had on Minami Lane we were two full-time. So Blibloop, who is my girlfriend, who made the art and the game design, and I was the developer. And then Zaku made the music and the sound of the game. Yeah. But before that, my first game, we were only with Zaku, and then the game I'm working on right now, Blibloop is not working on it. She's learning to make games on her own, and so it's back to me and Zaku only.
So the question then is Blibloop also making small games?
Yes, she is actually. Yes, she's learning Construct, so an easy development engine, game engine. Sorry. So she's learning Construct because she just wants to be able to do everything. Also to just discover the other side of making games, I guess. Not sure she'll make some commercial games yet because learning is
takes time.
Yes, it takes time. So we'll see. But her main activities are to sell pins and stickers and illustration online. Yeah. So the game actually was just, for her, Minami Lane was supposed to be a break on her main activity. Yeah. And we didn't have any financial goal, kind of.
Yeah, indeed. One thing you said is like, oh, you should make small games without the goal of making money, which I think is a bit of a hot take, especially on our game.
I think you should make games in general without the goal of making money. It's a bit weird because, of course, the dream of many people is to live from the games you make, but it's so hard and so dependent of many stuff that you can't control that I think setting this as a goal is really dangerous. You know, making games should stay fun. It is already really difficult in so many aspects of it that I think putting this hard objective that you don't really control on top of it can make it extremely painful and can ruin the game you are making. So I think, yes, everyone should try to make games without thinking of the end results.
Yeah, I think especially in the beginning when you're making those first few games, like we have a lot of people in our audience like, I'm gonna make my first game, 2D platformer, and I'm gonna quit my job, sell my house and all of that. I think definitely that's...
Of course, I won't say, if you want to do that, just sure, do it, but you have to realize that it's almost certain that your first games are not going to make any money, and your second game is not going to make any money, and your third game has a very small chance of maybe doing a bit of money. If you have like a way to live from not making money, of course you can do it if you have some money set aside, if you have some financial help from, I don't know, the states or your family or stuff. Of course it's fun to make games, so go on, make games, but expecting to earn money from the first games, no, actually.
I think that's a bit of context a lot of our viewers miss as well. You made, I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
The first one was Froggy's Battle.
Yeah, Froggy's Battle, yeah.
And
And then Minami Lane, but you had 7 years of experience of game development before that.
Not really game development, but kind of. Yes, it was. I worked at Ubisoft before, but in another job, I worked as a data scientist before. Then I worked for 2 years for an indie studio as a gameplay programmer this time. And then I quit that to go full indie, and then I made a first game that didn't sell very well, but still it's
more than break even, which I think is above average.
Yeah, really lucky actually on that one. And then Minami Lane came, and Minami Lane is a success, but it's a lot of it comes from luck. It's we worked hard, of course. We tried to do the best we could, but still it's kind of, I don't know how to say it in English, but all of the things aligned.
Yeah,
and
the
came
stars
together,
aligned.
and the stars.
You had
aligned.
good
That's
art.
it.
You had wholesome reach out. You had all of those things. Strategy games is something people like as well.
Sure, yeah.
So you say 6-month dev cycles. That's also what you're doing for Capital Park?
I'm trying to, but since I'm alone on this one, for the art and the dev, it takes a bit more time, even if the scope is a bit smaller.
Yeah.
And also, since now I have the Minami Lane money to just take my
less
time
pressure.
a bit more. Yeah, there's less pressure. And so during the development time, we moved. So that took 1 month. We took some vacation. Now we are in Japan, for 3 weeks, and I'm not working from here. So, except here now, like at the event, but I'm not working on the game Capital Park. So it's gonna be a total of, I guess, 8 months, including 5 or 6 months of work
I
on
think
the game.
that's a main question as well. We made small games as well. It was 2 people. We did it in 1 month, which was crazy.
Oh, is that the game with the unicycle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I saw your video, and from like 10 minutes ago, it was like, who? I already saw that guy. I'm sure. And okay,
yeah. And I think
sorry.
1 month is absolutely stupid. You say 6 months, but that's also 6 months full time. How do you think, what makes a small game? When is a game a small game?
That's a hard question.
And when isn't it?
The thing is that when I say to people, make small games, the main thing is that making games can be hard. It can be a lot of pressure, and it can feel at a lot of time like, what I'm doing is actually not good. I'm bad. Everything is bad. I hate this, and that's hard. And when you are making a small enough game, it's easy to project yourself at the next games and just the end of it, and to say, okay, maybe it's bad, but I don't care. It's gonna be out in a month or in a few months or in a few weeks even, and that can be helpful. So I guess you have to be aware of like how long of a project you can keep up without. I don't know, without getting...
You'll get sick of it at some point, indeed.
And everyone is going to get sick of it, even people who made awesome games in years, and always when they tell the story, it was really hard. And so that's one main point. So I guess for me, it's a few months. 6 months is great. Maybe for some people it's even less. Maybe for some people it's more. Yeah. But I think the most important thing is to try to not lie to oneself, and to really, I don't know, to really focus on that of getting things out fast and fail fast and learn fast, and just move on to other projects, because the more you do, the more it's going to be great, and the more it's going to feel great too. On my third game, I have way less doubts about what I do. Of course, I still have some, but I kind of brush them aside, and I'm like, I don't care. It's a game. I'm having fun doing it.
It's like, I'm gonna be done with this in 3 months, worst case. And if it doesn't go as good as planned, okay, I'll do better next time. That leads into maybe a question I had, because you didn't really talk a lot about this in your Reddit posts, I think. You did a lot of playtesting, which is good. Did you do prototyping as well? Or were you like, I wake up, Minami Lane idea, we make it, next up, Capital Park? Because if you have these short dev cycles, you can't spend 3 months like prototyping. That's what we ran into. We were like, okay, next small game, and we work on it on 2 months, and it's like almost done, but we realized, this sucks. We just cancel it, because...
Well, that's a hard question for me, because I never had the experience of canceling a game. So the thing is that...
you never miss.
No, that's not the point. I never missed, maybe, but I'm gonna miss in my career, of course. But the thing is that, I feel like it's hard for me, like that's kind of personal, but it's hard for me to get the feeling of, is that going to be good, without working on it properly. And since my development cycles consist of a lot of playtesting, I kind of trust the playtest to get me to somewhere where the game is good enough. So what I focus most on at the beginning is getting to a pitch that I think is coherent, interesting, simple enough to explain, attractive, and that is targeted towards some audience that I kind of know. Yeah. But then I trust the playtest to get me to a point where the game is good enough. But of course it's gonna fail sometimes. Of course I'm gonna take 6 months in my life to make a game that is bad sometime. Yeah. Making a lot of prototypes and deciding what is the best one to move forward into, like what a lot of game developers make, it's better suited for big games.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend 3 years, you want to make sure that it's gonna be successful.
Or otherwise it's gonna be awful. Yeah. So, but if you make games in a few months, well, I guess you can just move on. It doesn't mean that you can do like just do everything and do anything and oh wow, it sucks because I just did something that had no meaning at all, but you still have, of course, to have a lot of market analysis, of I don't know, a lot of work at first before even getting into the game. But I still think that it's not absolutely necessary to prototype a lot before choosing. The hard stuff about prototyping is, like I said, being able to decide what's the good one. Yeah. I've made 5 prototypes.
Which one is the best now? Yeah, or is it gonna be like?
And I think that you need a lot of experience, which I still don't have. Yeah. So maybe one day, but for now I'm not doing that.
So with Kabuto Park then, because you're more of the game developer and designer on that then I guess, you're just like, okay, I have this idea, it works good, I'm gonna get some playtests, and I know that if I playtest enough, I'm gonna get a good game or a decent enough game anyway.
I hope.
No need to cancel
I'm not sure, but I hope. So on Kabuto Park, of course, it was not like I have this idea. It was, okay, I have a lot of different ideas. At first it was birds, but I was like, okay, no, birds fighting with birds sounds weird. I'm going to make a game about creature collectors. What are the kind of creatures that I like? And a lot of different reflection. It took me 2 weeks to get to the pitch of Kabuto Park. But then, yes, now I have a pitch that I kind of know that feels good and that players resonate with it. I have an art style that I think, another direction that I think could fit with that. Yeah. And then I trust the playtest to get me to something great. But maybe, I just talked about experience, being able to decide on a prototype. For me, it's easier to decide on a pitch, maybe because I worked at Ubisoft in marketing for 5 years. So, it's just experience.
Okay, this game is already going to be probably more potential because I've refined that pitch. I know people are interested when I say that.
That's it. It's easier for me because of that experience. It's easier for me to evaluate a pitch than a prototype, I think.
Maybe a very quick then one. What makes a good pitch?
First thing I think about is the concision of it and the fact that when you say it shortly to someone, they react positively.
What would be the pitch for Kabuto Park?
It's a cute game where you catch cute beetles and make them fight in tiny sumo battles.
Yeah, so, I think that's honestly a good pitch because it's like cute, but then they're still fighting a bit.
And so it's not perfect yet, and I have to refine it. But it's one sentence, and I think you get the overall vibe. You get why should you play this game? Well, if you like beetles, it's fun. If you like sumo battles, it's intriguing. I don't know, and it's coherent because beetles, catching beetles, making them fight. It's kind of
it's realistic, but like maybe not exactly.
But then you add cute to it, and it's weird.
Now it's cozy. Yeah. I think definitely like our audience as well. They come to me and they're like, I have this 2D platformer, and it's kind of set in space, or like they don't know themselves when they're talking to me, and I'm like, I need it in one sentence.
Sure.
And I think only then, once you know that, you can really consider moving forward.
And
to
one sentence that will catch the attention of people. That people are gonna understand if the game is for them. Like, do you want a cute game? No, okay, move on. It's not for you. Do you want a cute game? Yes, okay, maybe Kabuto Park is for you. Do you like bugs and beetles? Yes, okay, maybe the game is for you. For a platformer in space, for example, okay, but there are so many platformers in space. What is the difference with this one? Why is that game for me? So I guess clarity, understandability is primordial, and then that little thing that makes it interesting to people and that makes it more than the other one, or at least different from the other ones.
Maybe one final question, because this is a piece of like hate that we get often when we say make small games. Do you think that we are part of the problem? And with the problem, I mean last year on Steam, 18,000 games released every year, gets more and more. And now you have these people and they're saying, make smaller games.
That's interesting. Actually.
I think not, but I want to know your take on it. I think that the problem lies more with the developers not understanding what is a small game and what is a bad game. I think they're not correlated at all.
Exactly. The thing is, like, when you make a small game, it's not make a game, but make it small and
make it
trash,
worse than
that's
RPG, remove everything and then release that.
If you try to do that, it's gonna feel bad for you, it's gonna feel bad for the players, it's gonna be bad. But making small games is having really a tiny
clear
design
vision,
and clear
what you
vision.
want.
Yeah, exactly. And when you make a game in 6 months, you actually make the game in 1 month and then spend a lot of time to play test, polish, and do a lot of stuff to make that game good. It's like when you make a game in 3 years, it's 1 year of making the game maybe, and then polish.
Yeah, bug fixing and then little
sure,
feature things.
Sure. So it's the same here. It's not a big game, but less. It's a small game.
Yeah, it's a smaller idea, but just as polished at the end of the day as a bigger idea.
Even maybe a bit more, because it's easier to add 20% polish when 20% means 1 month and not 1 year, you know. So I guess, yes, small games can be a lot of fun, can be really well made. You just have to look at Sock Pop Games, at Pancake Games, at Minami Lane, maybe, I don't know. and yeah, I feel like games that are for some people too much on Steam, like, you know, there are many games on Steam, there are maybe too much games on Steam, I don't know, because I like the fact that there are so many games, but usually trash games are made by people who, I think, but because I'm not sure about that, but who don't really care about what they are making.
They care more about being a game developer than making a good game. It's what I've noticed from my audience
actually, that's a bit hard. That's a hard question, because making games is so hard that sometimes people make trash games, but they really want it, they really tried, you know, that just the stars didn't align and they made a game that's bad, and we shouldn't be harsh toward those people, I guess. It's just they made a game. Yeah, congrats, huge congrats. And especially if you never made a game, talk about any game, because it's hard, really, and you have to make games to understand that, and then maybe you can criticize. And even then, why be mean about toward people? I don't know. So that would be my conclusion. Just be nice. I don't know. Just be nice toward people and be nice toward game developers. So,
I think usually your first game is always going to be your worst game anyway.
Yeah, probably.
And then if you made those smaller games, you can get them out faster. But it's like whether you spend 7 years on your first game or 3 months, probably both of them will have some critical failures anyway.
And it's funny because I'm thinking back at our part of the problem. I think actually I would see it the other way around. The pressure that us indie devs have on us to make the next, I don't know, the next Hollow Knight, that is bad. That is bad, because that puts us under a lot of pressure, and we just want to make things we love, and we just want to bring fun to the players. And so if devs could have a lot less pressure on them, that would be, I think, a lot better. Yeah, I think, and it could bring to better games too, actually. So yeah,
it's like how people are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make the next Breath of the Wild, but they're solo developer part-time, and it's like you're gonna make that big world, but you can't fill it up, and you're gonna have a worse game overall versus being like, I can do a small thing, also like a short hike, like, you know, very small world and very polished, and just do that. And I think, indeed, you can do higher quality games, just like you said. That allows 20% of polish when it only takes 2 months versus 2 years. It's much easier.
Sure, that's. We are going to talk for hours and hours if I continue talking. But one last thing, also, when we think about small games, we often think about a short hike, which is absolutely amazing.
One of the bigger indie games, like smaller games.
Sure. That one was made by a guy who is like so good, and so sometimes it's a bit scary. You're like, oh, but I cannot do that. I'm a beginner. I don't know how to do all those stuff. Maybe I'm gonna do a bigger game because it will be easier. Well,
make a smaller game.
Actually,
instead.
Make a smaller game that's
Focus
a short hike.
more.
Yes, of course. So yeah, don't try to do as good as a short hike. Try to set your expectation really low, because it's important. It's gonna be hard anyway. So just play a lot of trash games. I don't know. Play a lot of small funny games on on Steam. I don't know, but play games and try to make them, and it's going to be fun anyway. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Do you have something you want to plug here? Something you want to sell? Capital Park, Minami Lane, anything else?
Sure,
this is your chance to say whatever you want. Just no political beliefs, and that's it.
Okay, sure. So Minami Lane is on Steam and Switch in many different languages, so you can get it now if you want. It's less than $5. And my next game, Capital Park, is on Steam and it's going to come out in May. So please wishlist. Thanks.
How confident are you about that May deadline? Because there's always less pressure.
No answer.
No answer. It'll come out hopefully in May.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Dorian, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.